for February 19th, 2025, and we are at 4801 Lakeside Boulevard. It is now 6:30. We're going to open the meeting, and we will stand to say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I know a lot of you came down for some specific reasons because of some of the things we're going to talk about tonight, and so we're going to actually turn the meeting over for a little bit to Blake Day, the adjuster for our public adjuster, and attorney Kelsey Boyd, is it? Yeah. Yes, Kelsey Boyd, and Blake has somebody else with him. I don't know who that is. So.
Jacob Lupton.
Hi, Jacob. So we're going to go ahead and let Blake give us an update on what's going on with insurance.
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
No.
Hello. There you go. I'm just going to be close. Show of hands, who was here the last time that I was in here giving an insurance update? I see some familiar faces. So some of you. So back then, the last update that we had is we were waiting on the engineer's report from the insurance company and their expert's report. Try that microphone. There we go. A little bit better. So we were waiting on the expert's report to come in. It finally did come in after we were told for weeks and weeks, actually months, that we were going to receive it. The expert report came in. Pros and cons. The pros are on almost every single building, I think every roof in the community, they said has damage. The con is on every roof they want to do big repairs on basically everything. They want to do scattered shingles all over the roofs. The report didn't make a lot of sense, and to throw salt in the wound, not only did they say, I've only seen this twice in my career, I've done this for 16 years, not only did they say that they don't think the roofs need replaced, but they actually said, looking at the last report, we think we overpaid the association by $1,600. So they want you to pay them $1,600. There's a reason why Heritage is in the news and has all the things going on that they do, and this is kind of just plays into it. One thing I talked to Eric about, Wink News is actually doing a story about Heritage Insurance. Did they call you today, Eric?
Yeah, they're going to come up Thursday, the 27th at 2 o'clock.
Okay. So yeah, Wink is doing a pretty big story about Heritage. You were one of many claims that we are still unfortunately dealing with Heritage. They've requested interviews from the insurance commissioner in the state of Florida, Department of Financial Services. We're going to be coming out to this association along with some other large Heritage claims. And doing a story, and we're hoping that also lights a fire. But we've got to a point now where Heritage has dug their heels in. From a financial standpoint, from what we can tell, because you can look up their stock, it's publicly traded. They had a heck of a year last year. I want to say I think their stock was up. What was that? 8%. It was a lot. They made billions of dollars. So they have the money to pay the claims. Now it's getting them to actually pay us, which is why we have Kelsey Boyd here. Kelsey's actually worked with us on some of these bad faith Heritage claims. We're in active negotiations right now on several. Some of them that Wink will also be doing stories with. I haven't told her that. She just found out now today. I was going to tell her after the meeting, but yeah, the other one we're working on, they've reached out to Al, that whole group. So they're doing stories with a lot of these. So our goal in all of this is between applying the pressure from news outlets and then having Kelsey put together what they call a civil remedies notice. It's basically notifying the insurance company of all of their bad faith. The good thing about a CRN, as far as I know, it's actually public. You can pull up a CRN thing with the state of Florida.
You can search on it.
Yeah, so this will be something that'll actually be a searchable document when it's all put together. That again, I'm sure typically when we've done this in the past, we've done it with other bad insurance carriers since Hurricane Irma. They'll be doing follow-up stories. This will be one of the communities they'll be doing a follow-up. Probably by the time they do the follow-up, we might have the civil remedies notice drafted, so they can say, hey, not only are we following up, but now here's all the things that this insurance company's done that has breached the law or breached a contract. So that's where the claim currently stands and all the craziness of insurance in Florida. Unfortunately, you guys are one of the associations that has heritage that has already had to get several $1 million fines from the state of Florida. They're in a lot of trouble. They're not in financial trouble, so there's the good part. I think we were worried the last time I had the meeting is what's their financials. Well, you can pull up their stock and they've had a heck of a year. The problem we're having with them is the bad faith of not paying the claim. So I'll pass this off to kind of Kelsey just to kind of give a little brief description of kind of what the next step would be as far as, not only putting the media pressure, but from the legal sense to see if we can, get an outcome on this as soon as possible. So here's Kelsey.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to be able to speak to you all about this. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where I do this too often with Heritage. I've dealt with them many times over the past couple of years. I've handled Irma claims with them, now Ian, and just going through the mess. But usually Heritage is one of those insurance companies that you kind of have to be a broken record, and they're going to test your patience. And I was telling Michelle this, it's just one of those things where they're like waiting for you to give up. And so, like Blake said, I've worked many times with them now, and it's just one of those things where he's done everything he could, and just every file I get from them, everything is exhausted. And so where I step in is taking the reins on kind of the legal aspect of it. And in Florida, there's multiple things that you can do before filing a lawsuit, even so you don't even have to get into that yet. Obviously, I'm sure the board will keep you informed if it would ever get to that point as well. But the steps before litigation that need to happen, we generally send just like an informal demand to just kind of put them on notice, like, hey, counsel's involved. We're serious. We're not giving up here. And we usually give them around like 14 to 15 days to respond to that. And then if that's not successful in Florida, you have to file a notice of intent to initiate litigation. That also gives the insurance company around 10 business days to respond and another opportunity to resolve it before filing a lawsuit. And obviously, like Blake said, the civil remedy notice, it puts them on notice of everything that they're doing wrong. And also that's something that's registered with the state. And so they're taking notice of what's going on with Heritage specifically. And I'm sure every time a civil remedy notice is filed with Heritage Insurance Company on it, that's just another tick to them and just probably a little knock like, hey, we're watching you, what's going on? So that's generally speaking what the process would look like up until filing a lawsuit. Hopefully, if y'all decide to bring me on board and let me handle this for you, we would be able to get that resolved prior to litigation, because nobody likes lawsuits, but we have options and there's steps to take, and it's just kind of with Heritage, it's just a matter of not giving up, because that's what they're waiting for you to do. So.
You guys have any questions, the board members?
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Eric, when we spoke last week about this, you had mentioned about the change to the insurance law and the cost for litigation.
Yeah, can you explain that about the legal fees, how, or any of this, like the last one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when you get into pre-suit in Florida, you really were never, I mean, I wouldn't say never, but at least in the past few years, you weren't able to recover attorney's fees. But once you do get into litigation, that is something that is recoverable for Ian claims. After Ian claims, that is no longer the case. Yeah, Florida's just not great for the consumer, unfortunately. But for Ian claims, you're still in the go zone, so that's not an issue. But we would, I mean, pre-suit, I don't think.
I've never seen Heritage settle pre-suit.
Yeah, that's the issue. But regarding the contract, did you want me to go into kind of like how that would work?
Sure.
Okay, so pre-suit, we work on a contingency fee basis. So the association would not owe us anything, any fees, expenses, anything, unless we're able to get money recovered for the association after the signing of the contract. So pre-suit, we would take 10% of any of the amount recovered plus our expenses, but generally speaking, prior to filing a lawsuit, you don't have many expenses. And then after, if a lawsuit is required to be filed, that fee jumps up to 30%. because of all of the drafting and motion practice and depositions and all of the things that go into litigation. So that's really how we work. It's kind of one of those things where you guys don't owe us anything unless we're able to get y'all something. So.
But then is your total fee 40%?
No, ma'am.
10% to the 3 and 30.
Nope, it's just 10% and then just 30%. I firmly believe 40%. No, it's flat 30% if it's in litigation. Yeah, 40% if it's highway
10%
robbery.
goes away.
Yeah, absolutely, the 10%.
Okay, thank you.
For the litigation cost.
And if we do win litigation, they pay your fees.
No.
Yes. We would be able to include that in the damage model.
Have you had litigation with them before?
Oh, yes.
What is your success rate?
I've never had to go to a trial, so we've been able to settle before that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I guess that's 100%.
About what percentage of the claim do you actually recoup with the successful negotiations?
I mean, that's all in the board's hands, whoever, whenever it comes down to negotiations, I'm there. I will present the case. We will have the proper experts to show what the damage model is and be able to present that to a jury if necessary. But at the end of the day, we don't settle unless it's a number y'all are comfortable with, because I mean, I'm advocating on the behalf of the association, so. Yeah.
So especially in a perfect world, let's say we get to the point where Kelsey calls us, the board calls us and says, hey, they're ready to talk, real numbers. That's when I get with the board and, we start getting, what contractor might you want to use for, whether it's the gutters, the roofs, any kind of painting that needs done, garage doors, whatever's in there. We start having verbal conversations with contractors just to make sure that we're in the ballpark of where the numbers are, because obviously with inflation and things are always changing. Before there's any settlement made, there's always a conversation with the board. All right, check all of our boxes. These things need done. What are the prices of these things going to be? Now, we're using a program called Xactimate. It's the insurance kind of standard estimating software. Generally, it estimates high on things, so it's a good cushion. However, because so much time has passed from then until now, we're still going to, talk to the board, figure out the pricing of everything before, we settle anything. And those are conversations we have once we get to the settlement zone of the process.
What kind of timeline are we looking at? It's gonna be years, it's gonna be months? Do you have any idea?
Unfortunately, that is not a definitive answer I can provide to that, but
On average?
On average, so the way I approach my case handling is, I have a paralegal as well, her name's Stephanie, so if you do sign on with us, we'll all be very familiar, but we like to take be annoying, as annoying as possible to the insurance company, because we want them to get rid of us. So we stay on top. As soon as deadlines are done, we're getting in contact with you. We're kind of keeping you up to date, getting permission as to what the next step is. So generally speaking, I would say with doing a demand, which would be like a 15-day timeline, and then the notice of intent, max, I would say probably 2 years. That's worst case scenario. That's worst case scenario.
From 15 days to 2 years.
Yeah, I know. If it goes, so that's if it goes into a lawsuit and goes to trial. So I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, it'll be 6 months or 2 months or this, but worst case scenario, I would say 2 years, because Florida state courts have been really, really good at staying on top of their dockets, and they don't let people request continuances unless it's you absolutely need one. So they're staying on their timelines because they're so backlogged with hurricane cases that they're forcing people's hands. You either get this settled or you're going to trial. So it's really motivating counsel, I think, to kind of come together, have real conversations, and get cases settled.
So if we don't go to trial, we're talking about a much lesser time.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
I know Kelsey can't say this because she's an attorney, but I'm
Yeah.
not. I have different rules compared to her. I've never had a case go to trial, either in 15, 16 years. And I've never had a case yet with Kelsey go over a year.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to, don't want this to be the first one, obviously. We're trying the media outlet and everything, but I've never had a case with her, with Heritage or anybody else go over a year. Now watch this go to trial, and I'm shooting myself in the foot right now. However, that's the timeline I've always seen working with her. So, agreed.
What is Heritage's basic position? Is it that we're overestimating the cost of repairs, or is it something else?
Heritage in general, because we've got hundreds of claims with them, from Ian. Now, a lot of those have been settled, but it's the larger commercial ones that are dragging on. If you guys had a third of the amount of buildings that you have that had shingle damage, we'd probably already be settled. Heritage doesn't necessarily look at your damages, they look at the dollar amounts. They love settling claims $1.5 million, $2 million or less, no problem, they'll just stroke a check. Once you get over the 2 million mark, which you guys have a lot of buildings, it's not even about the damages anymore. Their first round of inspections, after the storm, Jacob and I were going around doing the inspections on all these properties. You could tell they didn't spend any time out here because they saw how big the loss was going to be and they just wanted to kind of throw some money at the table. We had roofs that they said, oh, to pull the tree off the roof, we're going to estimate for this. It'd be in the middle of, no trees anywhere. There was all kinds of wild things in the estimate that were not even remotely accurate. And again, had this been a smaller association, they probably would have came out here, maybe not treated you perfect, but if we would have came in, you're talking a few months, we could have got it wrapped up. But any of our cases with Heritage right now, they're definitely over the 3 or 4 million mark. They're putting up this fight. So, and I used to work for insurance companies for the first 10 years before I switched to this side 6 years ago. So I used to be in a lot of those meetings, and we kind of look at it from a cost basis. How much is this going to cost to defend by how much money we can save? There's no point in defending smaller claims. We're burning through money. But on larger claims, if we can delay, deny, defend, and drag these things on and wear associations down, we knew that even by the time we paid our attorneys, we're still saving 40, 50% on the deal. So unfortunately with Heritage, they don't look at the people, they look at you as a claim number, and they look at you as a liability. And it's, what's the easiest way to keep our liabilities down? It's drag this on and see if we can get them in a financial bind. We have, unfortunately, other associations that are in that situation. So it's not that our estimating is high, because we use the same computer program as Heritage. We actually, anytime we're working with an insurance company, we want to make sure we're using their computer software, so it's apples to apples. So it's not the estimating, it's just the fact that you guys have so many buildings and your claim because of that is larger.
Just curious to know whether or not Heritage has all this money available to pay out. We're talking millions of dollars, so therefore, do they have that money in their pocket somewhere to pay these claims if we are successful winning this litigation?
Yeah, if you have an iPhone, you can look up Heritage, because they're publicly traded, and you'll be able to kind of get into their SEC filings and see that they've got the money because they're in more than just Florida. Some of those companies that were only Florida-based got in trouble because it's like going to the casino and putting all your money on black. They bet on Florida. So when Florida doesn't have storms, they're making a killing because the premiums are high. But when it hits, they lose it all. But companies like a Heritage or an Allstate or Progressive, they're scattered in so many other states. Even when Allstate's a perfect example. I actually did a story with Wink that aired 2 weeks ago. Allstate made a record $20 billion profit, which is up like 400% of the last couple of years. And that was after Hurricane Milton and Helene came through. And it's because all their other states in the Midwest and Northeast didn't have any significant storms. So they still collected those premiums and didn't have to pay them out. So companies that are scattered around the United States, when an event happens, they have the money. It's just the ones you have to worry about is like the UPC that went under and some of the others that had almost 90% of their chips in the Florida basket. So they've got the money. It's just getting the money from Heritage.
The one thing I would add is we've also paid them the money. The primary driver in your dues going up so much over the last 3 years has been the Heritage insurance premium. So they got the money, we pay our premiums a lot, and the one time they don't want to pay us.
Are we still using Heritage?
Yeah. So here's the sticky situation in the state of Florida. When you have an active claim, nobody else wants to take you. So
there's very limited options.
There's no one to go with the damages with an open pending claim. So Heritage knows that. So they'll push up the rates because you got nowhere to go. Now, it's not the right thing to do by any means. And I've had meetings with plenty of local politicians to say, hey, there should be some kind of a increment raise, they can do it. You know, if there's a pending claim, they should be able to raise whatever they want. Now, that law hasn't passed, and why hasn't it? Doesn't matter if you're red or blue or whatever. The largest lobbying group in the state of Florida, as of 2 years ago, is no longer healthcare. It's the property insurance lobbyists, and it's on both sides. So pick your side. They're both getting their campaigns funded. So surprisingly, they don't want to put out any kind of a law that says if you have a pending claim, an insurance company is restricted on how much they can raise your premiums. So the goal is to obviously settle this thing this year. That way you can get away from Heritage and you never, ever, ever go back to them. I've told every association, because a lot of associations call our office and just say, hey, we got all these bids from, we're looking for a new policy. Who should we use? And I'm like, well, who do you have? And every time they mention Heritage, I'm like, run. They might have a great rate, but when the time comes where you have to use them, good luck. It's going to take, time to get your money.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a question for Kelsey or for Blake?
I wish we had better news.
Well, we'll be hearing more from you, I'm sure, so.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch.
In that news story, you said they're coming on the 27th?
Yeah.
Okay, they're doing a couple other clients. After this, Eric, I'll give you a call tomorrow, because either myself or Jacob, or maybe one of us will probably be here. I know they're doing an interview with me separate to talk about all the Heritage claims they have, but I'll see if they actually want me on site for anything too.
Yeah. that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, so we can obviously deep dive into this, and hopefully that puts some serious pressure on them.
Yeah.
Especially because, that news story, I'm gonna send out to some of our local politicians as well. And I would like to actually get a quote or some statements from some of our local politicians who have passed insurance laws that kind of sided with the insurance company. Gio Lombardo is one I would love to call. He and I have screamed at each other multiple times, and I would love him to be a part of this news story to defend Heritage. So yeah,
We'll get working pretty hard to try to make this good story.
Wink is hitting out hard on Heritage because, they always have people call in and say, hey, what kind of problems do you have, whether it's animals or healthcare problems. And a really common call that they're getting right now is all of these leftover Ian claims. It's all one insurance company. It's all Heritage. It's the only one that hasn't paid their claims yet. Wink is going to be going after them pretty hard. So I'm looking forward to the story and hope we get something out of it.
And with interest,
But which side?
we get to get them with interest.
Actually, that,
The last 2 years, the interest has been pretty good.
yeah, I believe on settlements, can you actually get
Get
interest on
interest on the money they
owed?
held.
Yeah, technically speaking, yeah, we can make that as part of the damage model in Florida. You don't see it as much as you kind of do in Texas.
So you can get them more interest, that's why.
I know after Irma on some leftover big claims, like very similar to this, that was part of our demand with the insurance company, was demanding interest on the money owed. Now, at the end of the day, if we use that as a bargaining chip, if they come to the table and want to pay us enough money, great. If they want to drag this on, then we put our foot down and say, all right, we want the interest too.
We go for all of it and then reevaluate, yeah.
Yeah, and when it gets to a number everybody's happy with, just make the nightmare be over.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys again. Appreciate your time coming in.
Do you guys need us around anymore?
Thank you.
Eric, just give me a call tomorrow, we'll talk about the next story.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Let's move forward. Brian, would you do a roll call for us, please?
New England.
Here.
Michelle Camp.
Here.
Sharon Osborne.
Yes.
Deb Coggan.
Here's our phone.
There she is.
Patrick Madigan.
Here.
Andy Levin. Here.
We got you.
Eric Gray.
Okay. And Eric was the notice out in time.
Yes.
Okay, great. I will entertain a motion to waive the reading of the previous month's minutes.
I'll make a motion, Madam Chairman, to waive the minutes.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Second was Patrick. Sharon and Patrick. Okay. I wanted Blake and his crew to be able to speak so that they could leave and we didn't take up any more of their time. But let me open by saying good evening to everybody, all my friends here. Many of you probably remember Paul Schroeder. Most of you may have known him. He was a former member here, and he was a former president of the association. And something that Paul used to say about an association was this, and I really liked it. So first, the purpose of the association is to maintain the property at a high standard, at the highest standard possible, so that the property values don't diminish. Now, the highest standard possible for a community that's 40 years old isn't going to be the same as it is for a community that might be 5 years old. We have to remember how old we are, but we're going to work towards keeping our property values up. Secondly, he said to keep the maximum number of units occupied so that we are spreading the expense over the greatest number of people, right? So we want to keep our property values up. We want to keep the high number of occupancy so everybody's contributing, and to make the place a really nice place to live. That's what an association is basically for. I like that. And that's going to be the goal of this board. That's what we're going to be working towards, this board. So I want to just make a couple remarks about some changes that you might see with regard to our meetings, and to keep them efficient, productive, timely, while still giving community members an opportunity to speak. Because I think that's one of the things that maybe has been a problem, and we want to kind of change that. So I'm asking that you give us the opportunity to make that change in the process. Just give us a little bit of time. The first change that you're going to see is that the open forum will remain, but it's not going to be at the beginning of the meeting. It will now be at the end of the meeting. And in part, that is because we want to utilize time during the course of our discussion when we have something that we're discussing or we're going to vote on. We want to give the membership the opportunity to ask questions, to make comments, which sometimes in the past have been thrown out from the group, and you're not really allowed to kind of handle it that way. So we're following Robert's rules, and we want to give you the opportunity. When we have a motion at the table, we're discussing it before the vote is taken. We're going to ask the membership, do you have a comment? Is there a question? Do you need clarification? And then you will have your 2 minutes to come up, identify yourself, ask your question, and try and, so that you feel like you know what decisions we're making here and you have some input. That's what we really want, is for all the membership to have some input and feel like they have some ownership in the decisions that are being made. Now, you did vote the board members in, so we have a responsibility to you, but you have entrusted that decision-making process to us. So it's kind of a little bit of a give and take, okay? So we are following Robert's rules. Please be mindful of that, okay? We're not trying to shut anybody down, but in order to follow that, you need to, you've got a couple of minutes to speak, make your point. We're not going to go back and forth, because if it's an issue that really needs to be looked at a little bit deeper, we might table it and say, you know what, that's something that Eric can take up with you at the next managers meeting, which is every Wednesday except for the Wednesday of the board meeting. He has a meeting down here on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. You can come, you can ask questions, you can discuss something a little bit further to get a better understanding, rather than us take the time in order to kind of do a back and forth during the board meeting. We want the board meetings to just be very productive and not go on and on and on, okay? The other thing about that is that you can, because we are on video, anybody who's watching online might have a question about something that we've been discussing, and they can email Eric and say, you know what, I'm interested in getting more information about that. Maybe they're not even here. They want more information. So we're willing to set up committees if we need to have additional committees to talk about something, or I'm really pushing for people to go to the managers meeting on Wednesday, where you can get more in-depth on something, okay? Keeping everybody involved. And then finally, I just want to let you all know what our committee chairs are. The safety and the website is going to be chaired by Brian, who's taking that one. Landscaping will be Sharon Osborne. Budget committee, obviously, is going to be Bill, and he's still going to work on the lake, have the responsibility of the lake. Andy is going to do Comcast and fiber optics, so he's going to help keep us on task with Comcast and getting the project done with fiber optics. And then we have two new committees that have been established. Telecommunications, which Patrick Madigan is going to see, and that has a lot to do with establishing maybe online voting for us, getting better situated so that our meetings aren't just on YouTube or people can't hear them and you hear all the time. It's like, excuse me, it's a terrible connection and you can't watch it and everything else. We're going to try and kind of come into the 21st century, 22nd century, whatever we're in now, and kind of maybe bring that up to snuff a little bit. And then the community liaison, which Deb is going to be the chair on that. Community liaison is, and notice that I don't go on the website a whole lot. I don't go on Front Steps a lot. But when I have been there, I see that on the discussion page, there's a lot of people complaining. And that's all they're doing. And this one complains about something, and somebody else jumps on. And it's not getting to the right person. If there's issues that need to be addressed, we want to hear about it, but in the right way. So Deb is going to be a liaison to the board as a board member for the community. Her email is going to be available to anybody and everybody. If you've got questions, you want to try and get an answer, or you want something to come before the board, you can bring it to her. So she's going to be awesome in that role, and I'm really looking forward to how we can kind of keep people, giving them an opportunity to share what they're thinking, what they're feeling, whether you have praise or whether you have concerns. Notice I didn't say complaints, I said concerns, because just about anything can be fixed or resolved one way or another. Okay, if you resolve it, not everybody is going to be happy, but you have to come to a resolution, right? We all have to live together. So I think it's going to be a great committee. And if we need additional committees during the course of the year, we will be able to establish them. Okay. So please, if you are interested in any of those areas, like if you have an interest in safety or you've already been on the safety committee, please let Brian know about it so that he'll let you know when there's going to be a meeting, but in order to work on that aspect of it. Same thing with the website. If you have an interest in the website or that's something that you would like to work on with him, or for any of the other board members that are up here, please let them know, because we can't do any of this alone. It's going to take everybody working with us, right?
What was that second one that Sharon is on?
Sharon is landscaping.
Landscaping, okay, thank you.
Right. We are going to do everything we can to hold down expenses, right? And we can only do that on the things we have control over. Obviously, the insurance is out of our hands, but we've talked about some of the other things. And I've already seen community members here that are doing things that help us financially, like painting, putting in some of the landscaping. We have great community assistance around here. And I hope that that is just going to continue, because those are the areas that we can kind of keep watch over our expenses. Okay? But anyhow, all of it is going to help us to maintain our property values and make this a nice place to live. So I hope that, like I said, you'll give us a chance to make some of those changes. Even at tonight, if there's something you want to bring up, you will have the opportunity at the end of the meeting in order to do that when the open forum's there. Okay? Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Okay. Make my mouth dry. All right, we got our update. So manager's report. That's you.
Right. So we've been very busy. There's been a lot happening around the community. As you heard, Blake was here. Next Thursday at 2 o'clock, some reporters from Wink News are going to be here to look at our property and the heritage insurance claim. We need to have a couple of volunteers or people that are willing to be on TV and answer a couple questions and give a couple quotes of how disappointed you are and this and that. If you're interested, please let me know, and we'll put together a group of people, and maybe you'll be on TV, new stuff. Yeah, Thursday at 2 o'clock. And email me if you're interested, if you want to come down at that time and meet with the reporters. And sounds like Blake is going to be here also, so if you have any questions, you want to talk to him in a more one-on-one setting, that will be the time. New fences have been going in the community. That wood damaged fence that was coming in, bordering the community and out, and also all the way down Sailview, has been 100% replaced with new white vinyl fencing. I think they did a really good job. It looks really great. It looks fresh, new, and really livened up the front there. The curbing that the volunteers have been working on painting, that's really popping off the fence too. It looks really nice. The dock, the railing is complete. I think that turned out great also. It's a different look, but it's really nice. It's vinyl also on the top, so it won't get too hot when you go and touch it or lean over to not feed the turtles, but it doesn't look fence painting and power washing. Mario's painting, they've started. There's some kind of shortage on the product that we're using. We're using a solid wood stain, so it soaks into the wood better than just painting them. That's what we've always used since I've been here. I used to use a paint, but the stain is much better for wood. We had 20 gallons delivered today, and they were out here painting, washing this afternoon, and they're going to be working on it. I talked to them. I said, figure it out. Tell them to make some more of the paint we need. I don't understand that. So even if they have to go out of the area to Sarasota or something, they're going to be getting it. And that project will be moving along. I've had a number of people, though, pleased with the work when theirs was done. So hopefully everybody is pleased at the end. Fire alarm inspections. We've had a number of issues with fire alarms over the last 2 months. So we moved that up to February from the end of March. We wanted to do a real thorough job. Normally they could knock the whole thing out in 1 or 2 days. But they were here yesterday and today, and then they called me and they have only got through 7 of the buildings, so about half, and they want to come back next Tuesday and work on the other half. So next Tuesday, the 25th, starting around 11, if you hear a fire alarm, it's most likely going to be a test, and you'll have an email going out to that effect. I touched on the white curbing, the volunteers. I want to just, and piggyback off of what Michelle said, I want to say thank you to a lot of the people that have been volunteering. We've had a lot of people pitching in, helping around here. I want to say thank you to Fred Roy and Mike Balthazar. We reorganized the back room closet, and they installed some really beautiful shelving that is going to be very useful. They help us maximize our space and make it much more functional in there. Dwayne Taylor, Ed Perez, and they've got a few other helpers out there that have been working on the curbing and up at the front entrance. That is really going to be the final touch that sets that whole main drag off, especially with the new wood or the new vinyl there. So thank you to you guys. And then we also want to say thanks to Regis Knapp, who helped us get that railing installed around the dock there. He worked all weekend, we met, and I was here on Saturday, and we got it done. So thank you to the volunteers. We want to do more stuff like that with volunteers. If you have an idea, or if there's something that we can do and you're interested in helping, let me know. We'll try to get you involved. An update on the land to the south of us, the Habitat for Humanity land that's going to be sold. It appears that there's a wetlands issue there that is making it not environmentally feasible for this company to build the luxury townhomes. So the lawyer couldn't give me exact information because of attorney-client privilege, but he kind of said, read between the lines, appears like for at least the foreseeable future, there's not going to be anything built there. So it'll stay as it is, which I think is the best outcome that we can ask for. Then, just the last thing I want to touch on is, to update everybody on the villa unit that we have, or we had at 9540 Windsor Club Circle. So just to go over the numbers with everybody. So we had paid $35,000 to acquire the unit. There was $31,163 owed by the former owner, and then $64,748.89 was spent on renovating. Then we had some property taxes and Florida Power and Light bills for the period of time it was for sale. The total invested was $136,757.31. We sold the unit for $275,000. We had to pay realtor commissions of 5% and closing costs. So the association proceeds were a total of $253,995.81. However, of which $9,710 of that was dues to pay back past dues. Yeah. So the true profit or the true proceeds to the association were $244,285.81. And if you subtract that from the $136,757, the profit is $107,524.29. So overall, it took a little longer than we wanted, but the result netted us over $100,000, which is a very good outcome. And that's all I have for you tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Eric. That's not a bad report. That's a good report. Bill, do you have a treasurer's report for us?
Yes, I do. Well, I can't top that on the profits, so I guess that was good news and bad news here. I got the bad news now. Well, it's not, could be worse, I guess. This is the February Treasury report. Since as we begin 2025, the Treasury remains stable. We ended 2024 over budget for the year. This is primarily due to the rising costs and inflation, insurance increases, staff maternity leave, and the early rollout of our new cable contract, which provides everyone with high-speed internet, included in our quarterly maintenance fees. Outside of insurance, these challenges were one-time occurrences and should not be a worry moving forward. We'll be working on the 26 budget in April and May and throughout the summer and fall. Hopefully the large increases in quarterly dues will not continue into 2026. If anybody has got any pull on keeping hurricanes away, that'd be a good way so our dues won't go up. So we will have to incorporate the structural integrity reserve study into the budget this year. However, it is unclear how drastic of an impact this will have on our budget since we already fully funded our reserves using the straight line method rather than pooling. Next month, I will provide an update on the association's collection and delinquent accounts. And just to comment on that, I just hope everybody pays up. Because, you know, I don't like having to carry, you know, and you all are the same way. So, I mean, we're paying for people that's not paying, and they use all the amenities and everything. And it's not hardly right to everyone that does pay. So, just my opinion of that. The new year-end balance sheets and income statement is available for your review, and as always, if you have any questions on that, see myself or Eric, and one of us will, Eric will be more than happy to explain that to you. Any questions on that?
Anybody have questions?
Madam Chairman, could we get more of a precise, you're saying that we went into a hole about certain situations and you took money out of a reserves to balance out?
No, we, went over about $100,000 over budget last year. So out of surplus, so we have money saved up from years that had surpluses, so
Right.
it kind of dips into that.
Correct.
But we, definitely got what we want.
Okay, but can we see more of an itemized situation where I can see where it's,
Yeah,
where we had debt, where we took it out of?
yeah, I can send it to you, but I'll send it to you again.
Okay, okay. If you send it,
Debbie has a question.
Sure.
What's that?
Debbie?
accounts we're actually speaking about?
There's some notices going out today, because I think some of the people on the list just forgot.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah.
She wanted to know how many approximately delinquent accounts are on there, or are on the list. I was looking at it, and we're sending out some reminders and some late notices, because a lot of the people are people that I think may have just forgot or not gotten the first invoice in the mail. So it shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't be too bad. Maybe 10.
Can I, for clarification?
We're not making a motion on anything just yet, so.
No, I'm not doing that, just a follow-up question. We have vacant units that are perhaps not paying the dues, is that true?
For the most part, everyone is paying their dues. There's 462 units, and we'll have maybe 5 or 10 that don't.
Okay. Any other questions from the board for Bill?
No, the next meeting I'll have, I'll tell you that meeting we got. I looked at it, but truthfully, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think people would like to just get a number, that's all. We don't have to know who.
Oh,
Although
no,
I will tell you, some associations actually list the names and tell people who. In fact, there's an attorney that said, if you don't want your name put out there, pay your bill. I mean, that's kind of where they stand. So we're trying to be respectful in that sense.
And at times I've done that. I went over how many delinquencies we had, who, not who, but how many we had with the attorney and so forth like that. I mean, I can start doing that again. If that's what you want, that's no problem. Yeah, I'll go through next month.
Okay, maybe once a quarter, Bill, if you wanted to do that, at least once a quarter, to just say where we stand.
Whatever you want.
That's why we were talking about doing it next month, is because, it's right before the fourth grade.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. All right, we're going to move into old business now, and talk about the Hurricane Ian claim that they were talking about. So we have to make a decision about whether we want to move forward with this legal counsel. Am I correct?
That would be. So that seems like the next step that they're recommending is to retain an attorney to take the next steps, hopefully a mediation or something to that effect.
So we're going to discuss it. We need a motion to open this.
I make a motion that we hire the attorney that was present tonight, whatever his name was. Kelsey, to represent Pine Ridge Condo Association in the lawsuit filed against Heritage Insurance Company.
I'd second that.
Okay, Deb Creighton and Patrick Madigan have both seconds. All right, so some discussion. Any questions or discussion on it? Anybody?
I don't think we can afford not to.
Just one clarification for the minutes, that you said to hire them in the lawsuit. we're really not in a lawsuit. We're contracting them to represent us.
Represent.
In the matter.
Hopefully it doesn't turn into a lawsuit.
Right, that they're
Legal
being
matters.
retained, yes.
They also work on contingency, so the bottom line is that we're only paying them if we win.
The one thing that she said 3 or 4 times that kind of resonated with me is that they're trying to get us to give up. They want you to give up. That's their goal, is for you to give up. And she said that a number of times, and that,
Will there be a contract, an actual signed contract with this firm to represent that?
We'll have
Oh,
to
you've got,
review it,
okay,
yeah.
very good.
We'll have to have our
Yeah.
in-house counsel, review it also, to make sure it's, it's a one-pager to be cut and dried. Usually like that.
So then the motion is on the floor that we retain this attorney in order to move forward for us, and we're gonna have our attorney take a look at the paperwork first. Is that correct? Okay. And then from there, we can move on to it, right? The board will make a decision at that point, once the attorney looks at this, and we
The
can,
attorney says it's okay.
if the attorney says it's okay, yeah, before we vote, we are gonna give an opportunity for questions and clarification. So Tom, you had a question?
I just wanted to make sure I heard that properly. She's working on a contingency,
Correct.
right? So we don't
Yeah.
have.
Once they get some.
and then if it gets to litigation, she'll build the contingency into the settlement, so we don't want it to pay it.
And if it goes into, we would be able to pursue any, fees, that we would have to pay the attorney.
Yeah.
Is what I am thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So we've made the motion, and we're gonna,
Like Kelsey, I think
Yeah.
she seemed pretty sharp to me, and Blake vouched for it pretty good, so.
I call a vote.
One other comment. I don't think it was mentioned, but I happened to be in the office talking with Eric when Brett called, and
Brian was on the conference call with Blake and I when we were going over this.
and he mentioned that one reason he recommended Kelsey was that she's currently working on another case against Heritage.
Yeah.
So she's very familiar with the company and
Yeah, there's another community that has the same policy as us, same everything as us, and I think they're gonna be part of the news story too. And it should go pretty well if everything goes to plan. I think, and Blake kind of hinted at it, Kelsey has to be careful what she says as an attorney. She can't make any promises or tell you what's gonna happen, but based on what we're hearing, I mean, it sounds like we have a case. None of these people would be spending their time on it on a contingent basis if it wasn't worth it. At least looking at it going forward.
all right, if there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote. Brian? Sorry.
yes.
Yes? Andy?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay, and I am yes as well, so.
Yes.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, Debbie. I apologize, okay. It's unanimous. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, we're gonna move on then to the damaged spaces, the fences that Eric was talking about. This was actually already really approved at a previous board. We're just ratifying the fact that
We just want to get it in the
Yeah.
minutes that we did it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, motion to approve the fence that was already installed.
motion to ratify this.
Ratify the
Yes,
decision.
yes. Everybody good with that? Any nays? Yes, no?
Do we have to have a motion though?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the fence that we've already built.
Is there a second?
Second. We're
Okay,
split that.
all right.
Andy, was that?
Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Any discussion?
all right. Anybody else got something to say about it? It's already a done deal? Okay. All right, motion passes. We're just killing it here. Okay, let's talk about the upcoming roof replacements. You have some information for us,
Yeah.
sir?
I made a breakdown, we've been talking about the roof replacements for a long time. I gave a breakdown here to the board. We've got 4 bids. America's Roofing Contractor, Roof Wars, Crown Roofing, which is our favorite, and Dynamic Roofing. The America's Roofing Contractor is run by the former general manager of Frank's Roofing, who did all of our other roofs, and who's done a lot of the servicing here. On the roofs, he's got the same crews, and I've also was able to negotiate with him really the best price. So for continuity's sake, that would be my recommendation to the board. You can see the breakdown. They're $25,000 about cheaper than every other, or than the second best bidder. I also got bids from them for the clubhouse. And I got a shingle bid for the clubhouse and also a metal roof bid for the clubhouse. Not sure how the metal roof, if we're actually allowed to do that. I have to talk and see how that will work. That would be kind of neat though to do. And then Les is his name. He's actually come to a couple of the Wednesday meetings and met with some of the people and answered questions, and he's been really good. Said he'll give us $10,000 off the total if we approve everything and decide to do the clubhouse also. So.
Can you share the timelines on this? Because when he came to the Wednesday meeting, he was talking about once he got approval, he could pretty much get started. Almost
Yeah,
right
if you guys approve it, I'll call him tonight and let him know, and then tomorrow morning they'll get started on doing the paperwork and getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, I know everybody wants the roofs taken care of.
That has been a hot topic budget in all the managers' meetings.
Yeah, I mean,
And I've attended.
and this is a win all the way down. I mean, he started, he was at basically matching the higher prices on this list, and got him down. Now it's $425 a square is what it comes out to, plus the metal and et cetera, which is excellent.
So Eric, this is money that, it's over $500,000, so we're not talking peanuts here. But this is money that is coming out of insurance money, reserve money?
The
where's this coming from?
overwhelming majority of it is money that's in the reserves, and then some of it will be insurance proceeds that we've already received. The reserves for the roofs.
So everything's funded. Everything is funded.
Everything's funded, yeah.
Are we going to kind of look at the roofs that are in worse condition first? Because, I get roofs that are here that
Yeah,
have
the
problems.
ones that have the most damage or the worst condition will be done first, and we're gonna prioritize them just like that. So with any luck, they'll be starting middle of March and finishing up end of April. And they're way ahead of rainy season, hurricane season, all that stuff.
Do you have a list of the addresses that are looking for a motion?
Yeah, we'll need a motion after the questions, and I can, yes, I do have a list of addresses. Yeah. What's your question?
The total over here at 574,220, does that include this number here?
No, that's the add,
That's an add-on?
That's extra, if we do it, he'll knock 10 off the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So
He's kind of giving us a deal on it.
Okay, all right. I'm done.
So we do need a motion so that
We have
we can
another.
open up the motion and then we will give them an
Oh,
opportunity
okay.
to ask questions. So I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion that I guess we have to make a contract with
We approved the.
Yeah, okay, so contract, we're approving contract, to have the roofs done at a cost of whatever it was, 574,220 from
And
Americas
it's
Roofing.
31 duplexes, 1 single-family home, and 1 fourplex, quadplex. So 33.
Wait a second.
Second.
Do we need to clarify that to, I specify whether or not we're doing the clubhouse as well right now?
We would get to approve the clubhouse now, and then we can specify the shingle or metal later on. Yeah, I would say.
Okay, so then we're gonna amend
The
the
clubhouse
motion.
needs it pretty bad from what I can see.
Well,
I don't know if it's
Okay,
ever-
yeah, Sharon, would you like to amend the motion?
yes, we'll amend the motion to include the clubhouse and with a decision to be made at a later time on metal or items.
Shingle.
Shingle, thank you.
Snoopy will still be on the roof, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be Owens Corning duration shingles, and the color is antique silver. The same that we used last time.
Second.
Okay.
Question then. What we're eliminating is the clubhouse metal.
No,
No, we're not sure whether we're gonna do the metal or shingle. What we're doing is saying that we're gonna do we'll do the roofing gutters with America's Roofing. We are gonna do the clubhouse, but we'll make the decision which one we're going to do at a later date, whether we're gonna do the shingle at 17,000 or the metal at 24, understanding that he's gonna give us a $10,000
The
rate,
motion is to approve him to do it, we decide later
which, yeah,
just on the clubhouse.
Yeah.
yes,
It's just on the clubhouse.
yeah. But then we're gonna go ahead and
If
get
if we
the
can
roof
legally do the
started.
metal, I personally think it would be neat to have the metal roof back here, but, I have to check the statutes and make sure.
Is there anybody out there that has question, needs clarification strictly on the issue with the roofs?
Yeah, I just had a question on the metal roof. You know, I read a lot about it. It says, you know, they cost more than like 2 times what a shingle roof costs. But now it sounds like he's gonna give you a $10,000 break on a clubhouse if you do it, which would mean it would be cheaper to put a metal roof on a clubhouse than it would to be shingles. Is that
Well,
correct?
we get a $10,000 break regardless. The shingle roof for the clubhouse, $17,000, is $24,000 to go to metal roof. So if we can do the metal, you know, we're at it.
I know the news press had articles recently. Hi, can I just, thank you. The news press had an article recently about Florida and the asphalt roof shingles versus the metal roofs and wildfires and all this stuff. I think we would get the best longevity out of a metal roof, spend the money now and have,
Yeah, I don't,
yeah.
to me, I don't know, the rest of the board, it's not a money issue. It's a kind of a material change, and as long as the attorneys stamp it says it's okay, that would be okay with me. I think it would be a good thing to try on this building, because before you know it, we're gonna be doing another round of roofs. And if it does go that direction where they go away from asphalt shingles, you know, we'll know what we're getting into, and we'll have one here. So it's kind of a good idea.
Bob?
Yeah, there's no real question about the life of a roof. We're dealing with roofs right now that, 8 years, they're starting to look kind of tattered, and you're gonna get 50 years out of a metal roof. Are you looking at a metal roof that's the quiet steel technology that they've been advertising lately? I'd suggest looking into that, because as large of a room as this is, the amount of noise that we get in these heavy rains, especially during our summer meetings, it would probably greatly benefit the community to have a quiet steel roof on. Because it's gonna last for 50 years.
Yeah, the only thing we have with this room that's a little unique is this side room being a patio is, it's always gonna kind of have some noise there, but yeah, we'll definitely check into soft steel.
These metal roofs can be pretty noisy.
Any other comments?
Yes, I have a question. It's going to get, from my understanding, it's going to get pretty hot underneath that metal.
They have good ventilation because of the gaps, so air flows.
Yeah, they leave airflow gas to prevent that.
If you do any research, a metal roof is rated superior to a shingle roof. 10 times out of 10. You're not gonna-
All right, I'm
Just
going
for
to.
clarification, this 10% discount is on
10,000.
the total.
10,000 on the total, yeah.
10,000, that's on the total. Okay.
Correct. All right, then I am going to call for the vote.
Just a quick thing, sorry, just a quick thing. Is there like a timeline by which you need to make a decision to get that discount, stuff like that? No?
I'll be able to work with him.
He'll
He'll
work
do
out.
what we need, yeah.
Super.
All right, yeah, I'm calling for the, okay, I'm gonna call for the vote. Brian?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Bill? Yes. Sharon?
Yes.
Patrick? Deb? Okay, and I'm a yes, so it's unanimous. We are gonna go with America's Roofing, for the price of $574,220, and then also have the clubhouse done and make the decision, when we can get that detail. Good. Oh, it's that, okay. All right, we are going to look at the hurricane damage dumpster enclosures, some of our favorite topics around here. And we have gotten some quotes here from some variety of fence companies. There's quite a few in here, actually. And Eric, you want to make your recommendation on this one to the board?
So we've talked about a couple different materials over the time that we've talked about this. The bids that we have are Royal Fence, which did a bid for vinyl fences with welded aluminum frames on the back gates, which if you need to see it, you can see it. But they're welded, they should be a lot more solid than what we have now. $25,950. The welded frames, I think, are very nice, and 3 hinges per door. He made some recommendations on things we could do to secure them in a storm to prevent damage. And at that price, would be my recommendation. The other bids, just so everybody knows, Carter Fence and Royal Fences, who did the other fencing around the community. Carter Fence was $77,000 for the vinyl. Fences Unlimited was $27,950, so that's more in line with Royal. However, they don't have the aluminum frames on the.
Is it per dumpster?
That's for everything.
Everything.
For all of it?
Yeah, for everything. Yeah. Then we've got 3 bids for concrete block walls. It's just for the 3 walls. Then we would have to purchase gates separately. The gates are going to be approximately $12,000. And for the concrete block walls, we've got, and footers, we've got Greg Newville at $55,000, Christian Hernandez at $68,995, and Trinity Contractors at $83,000. Then the other category that I'm looking at, or I'm trying to get some pricing on, was for a precast wall, like similar to what they have on the side of the highway or bordering a community. A resident in here has a family member that's in the business on the other coast. We weren't able to find anyone on this coast that could do it, and they're supposed to get me some prices. However, it would be superior to the vinyl, I think, in quality, but the price is probably going to be such that you could do the vinyl 2 or 3 times before the time comes that we do it. So I don't have that price yet. So it's up to you guys if you want to wait for that or move forward at this time.
Can you also explain though, because you said the vinyl that he's talking about now is a better vinyl than what we currently have, right?
Yeah, it's a higher grade, and then just the way he's going to construct it, there's not going to be as many weak points. And if you go up to the vinyl we have now, it's chalky. I mean, it's beat. It's 10 years old, regardless of the hurricane. It's beat. What we have now, they call them welded gates, but the weld is melting the vinyl together. I don't really consider welding if it's not metal. So I think the metal frames are what makes the difference on this. We have bigger drop rods, and I'm pretty confident they'll do a good job based on work they've done for us before. I know some people wanted to see the concrete, but to spend 4 times the amount, you could have the ones 4 times.
And now, you had said something about those doors and with that first company, they can be removed easily if all of
That's
a
what
sudden there's a.
he recommended removing the gates. That's your primary cost. The other material can be placed back together. The posts aren't going to go anywhere. And so we take the gates off before the storm, store them in the shop, and then put them back on after the storm. We'll be a preferred customer of theirs. We're going to have all that other vinyl that's going to be repairing probably. So they'll come out and they'll repair what we need, and that's it. So he said even the ones we have now could conceivably be repaired, but I don't think that's the route to go. I think the route to go would be get brand new ones and make everything nice and have 2025 everything. Yes.
Where is this coming from?
So we were paid a little bit more than this from the insurance. Yeah, this is insurance proceeds, just like the other fence that going in and out of the community was insurance proceeds. The fence that we already, as an example, the fence that we already built, we were paid $57,000, and we paid 45. So there, we came in a little bit under what they paid us. So should be about the same. And the insurance paid us based off of vinyl fences because that's what we had before. And we had concrete, and that went down. Then they were paying us more.
I'm going to probably answer a question that some of you may already have because I asked Eric. I've been going around the community and I noticed that some of the dumpster enclosures didn't look all that bad. And I kept thinking, well, gee, maybe we don't have to do all of them. But then I found out, number one, what we are talking about putting in is a much better quality vinyl. But we also can't get, because of just saying, okay, they only need new doors, the way the other ones are set up, you can't put these kind of doors on them the way it's set up, correct?
Yeah, and it's just the material is really beat. It's been, we had Hurricane Irma back in 2017, and we pieced them back together. Then we had Hurricane Ian, and everything that's happened since then. And we've gotten our life out of them.
Yeah.
We probably left them too long in the state they are, but that is what it is.
And we have insurance money to pay.
And we have the
for it,
insurance money to pay for it. So it's kind of nice to have brand new, nice stuff. So there we go.
Any other questions? I will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead with the fencing around the dumpsters, using the.
The other thing, sorry, if I could add, there are a couple that are going to need some concrete work underneath, and I don't have prices for that yet. There's somewhere, maybe when the dumpster's slammed down, the concrete's all cracked and broken and things like that. So there's going to be some additional work needed with this, but this will at least give us a foundation to start with, so we'll know what direction we're going. Correct. Some of the pads, yes.
Patrick, go ahead.
Still going to proceed with a motion to put the new fencing around dumpsters using the vinyl and the bid that you're currently discussing.
Royal fence.
Royal fence.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Call for the vote. So, anybody else got
Any
these? We kind of
questions?
discussed it a little
We got a
bit. but any
question
other
over here.
discussion?
Quick question, the dumpster area that's, over here, are you gonna make it as large as it currently is, knowing that we're just limiting it to the traditional food waste?
We're determining that right now. If we can, if we can see if we can facilitate a pickup again like we used to have or not, so that's gonna depend.
Also, is there any plans for the recycle dumpster?
No. Not at this time.
I mean, as far as making it look better.
Not at this time. Laura?
Where I live, that dumpster.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, where I live, the dumpster is way over the top of that white thing.
Uh-huh.
Can you make the dumpster even or lower so I don't have to stare at the top?
We're only allowed to build 6-foot fences,
So can
so
we
if we
get,
get, we could get a smaller dumpster,
Yeah.
but then it's gonna fill up. It's not
Well,
gonna be,
maybe
it's not gonna be adequate for what you
people drive their garbage into that one from all over the community?
We can look at it, you know, we can look at
If
it,
it
but
was
the
smaller,
thing
they
is, just
wouldn't.
the reason why, we have 6-yarders and 8-yarders, and the reason why the 8-yarders are where they are is because that's what's needed to accommodate the garbage that we produce.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So,
If you-
but we can look at it, we can
Thank
look
you.
at it, I'm not against it. Yeah.
It stinks. Nobody washes the bottom of those dumpsters ever. And where I live, the smell just comes right up. I've had other people complain about the smell, not just me.
You have to stop hanging out by the dumpster.
I live by it. So does Debbie. She lives closer than I do, and she doesn't see the
I know,
top.
I know. Nobody wants to hit about it.
That, to me, it's not funny. Okay.
We'll see if we can figure something out.
Patty?
I'm not sure the question was answered. You were talking about the dumpster over here in the parking lot?
No.
Treasure pallet?
The treasure chest thing, the
Right,
situation there.
Car wash.
Is that enclosure going to be made smaller so that people cannot put couches and furniture in there?
We were trying
TVs
to
and
get
toilets and everything?
I was trying to arrange for the pickup to come back for the furniture, but,
This price that we have includes that size. Now, if we decide that we're not going to make it that size, it can be made smaller. But this
and then
price
the price,
includes
and
that
the price
size.
will go down.
Good answer.
Eric, on Sailview, it was kind enough for somebody to put some crushed stone where the truck backs up.
Yeah.
Can we do a permanent fix, a pad there or something?
Yeah, that's one of the ones, that's one of the ones we gotta look at with the concrete work. I put the gravel out to try to help it out.
Yeah, it looks good, but it's not.
It's better than mud.
Better than the ruts that were there. I agree.
Yeah, I think as we're doing this, we'll have the opportunity to fix whatever needs fixing. We just needed to get the okay to go ahead and get this started with, so.
I think the one he's referring to on Sailview is also one that has the pad that's all busted
Yeah,
up on it.
Yeah,
we're aware of that.
One of the worst pads.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
If we change the angle a little bit on that, the truck would be able to snag it without backing on the dirt.
Yeah, we've already looked at kind of that one. Tried to-
Right. All right,
We gotta make sure we have a
now,
good driving field.
I lost, did I call for the vote or did I not call for that vote? No.
No, you haven't called.
Okay, I'm calling for the vote. Brian, okay, Andy,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Sharon.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Sharon, Deb. All right, and I'm a yes. It's unanimous. We're gonna go with Royal Fence for the price that is listed here and use insurance proceeds. Awesome. All right, we're gonna move on to new business. There is a unit that is potentially available for acquisition. And we could consider doing it by, making a purchase on this unit and fixing it up and selling it. But I think, before we did that, I would really like for us to give some consideration to having somebody of the professional nature come in and actually evaluate what it would cost to fix it up.
Condo or villa?
It's a condo.
It's a condo. It's an unfortunate situation with a lady that has to move out that, I don't know exactly what the issue is, but it seems like there's some mental things going on there. And she's offered to kind of turn it back to the association for a small price compared to what it's worth. I don't know if that's the business that we want to be in, but it is an opportunity. And we were able to describe the type of money that you can make with this type of thing earlier.
I think before we can even consider this, before this can even be considered, we have to know the price that we buy it for, and we have to have inspections for mold, air conditioning, the general, the inspections that we usually do when a bank asks us for when we're buying a house. And we need to decide on how much we want to spend for renovation when we start thinking about what we can sell it for. So if we're buying it for 60, and because the inspections turned out it doesn't have mold, it doesn't have anything else, we might want to say, okay, we're going to buy it, but the cap on the renovation can't go over 50 or whatever, whatever we decide.
In order to facilitate the proceedings, I would like to motion that we approve Eric and instruct him to establish a purchase price and cost for remodeling to sell the unit.
I'd second that.
That's fine, let's talk about it then.
And then Eric will come back at the next meeting with all of the numbers. And we could vote on it at the next meeting, or if we continue at the next meeting,
That's
then it
fine.
could be.
Or if we need another meeting
Yeah.
to do it sooner, we can have a special meeting and call for that.
I think it would be wise if we did do it the way Eric just described it, we could, because I think we gotta move where you kind of consider the irons are hot in this particular situation. If we drag this out too long, we could lose a very good opportunity.
Yeah, but.
So, but if we have these caveats that we're putting onto it within the motion, we should be covered so that we don't get into a situation where it's out of control.
Agreed.
So is that a motion to amend the motion to add?
No, I think we stay with your motion and we stay with what we've discussed. And then we can have if everything falls into place, we could have a special meeting to make that vote to go forward.
Or not.
Or not. We may even have a meeting to rescind the motion that.
Yeah, we may find some things out that we don't like and we don't want it.
Correct.
All right, so we're gonna table
No.
anything final until we know?
No, we're not tabling it. Through the motion that we're making, we're now giving Eric instructions to move forward to find out about everything. Then come back and report to us and say, hey, I'm ready to report to the board. Let's have a special meeting. Let's act on it.
The
We're not voting.
intent is to buy if everything is hunky-dory.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Discussion from the floor then. Anybody have a?
Good Lord. Did you guys ever consider just buying it and selling it just as is?
Yeah.
If that's what you do, and then you don't get involved in anything else, because the guy that's buying it, he's probably gonna fix it up.
Yeah.
And then you can turn it over as fast as you can to start getting your assessments out of it.
Yeah, that's certainly a thought. I think Sharon's on the right track with the inspection, but I think, whatever profit margin we think we can make, if we can make that same percentage selling it as is, there's no sense in doing a bunch of work for no reason.
They get to pick their own finishes.
Yeah, they need to pick what they are.
Madam Chair, so in taking with what he just said, I think that's a very good point. So again, through our motion, we're giving Eric that opportunity to come do the analysis, to come back to us and say, hey, here's the situation, and it could happen that we can go, I don't want to say it's like out of control, but let's say our expenses are going to be too high, but we can still purchase it and then still flip it I mean, Eric can come back and report to us and say, hey, I think it'd be a good opportunity to flip this property, but we control it.
And in the meantime, we can kind of float it out there to some people that we might know that are investors that might want to give us 25 to 30% on our money. And that is just an accounting entry, and we don't even touch the condo yet.
My concern is that if we let this labor too long, we could have.
Opportunity goes away.
The opportunity will go away, and those people living in that stack now have to deal with the fact that we have basically an abandoned condo. The association is gonna have to pick up the condo fees, we're gonna have to do a foreclosure, we'll have to do a lot of different actions, legal actions, if we don't act within the next month.
Can I make a simple suggestion?
Wait, Debbie's speaking. I'm sorry, Deb, go ahead. Let Debbie speak.
With everything that's been said, but I think at this point, we haven't set a time frame. We're just asking Eric to find that information out and to have a special meeting, so it's not going to be so long.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I think everyone's on the same page. Skip, what were you gonna say?
When I make the suggestion to take the villa and put $100,000 on the price tag from what you bought it and sell it to Bruce, we wouldn't have touched nothing. What did you make after all your labor? $100,000. If that, you can acquire that condo for, what was it, 60,000?
We could acquire it for 60 and flip it for 90 or 100, that would be good.
Put your price to make on it and sell it to Bruce so we don't lose him. They're raising his rent again. How long is the guy gonna be able to live in our own neighborhood? We run the guy in the hole every
We can have
day.
him.
Why can't we get a condo for him?
No, I think that's a great idea, if he's interested in doing it. And we're able to. It's a great idea, but something we can look at.
Just a quick question. What's the status of the one that we purchased, a 3-bedroom condo that was rented?
It's still rented, he might be staying a little bit longer. As soon as he moves out, we'll put it on the market for sale.
He had a year lease on it.
A year lease until the middle of March. He may need to stay another month or two. He's gonna let me know.
We're not
and
losing money
Then we'll
though.
put it for sale. Renting it out for $18.50 a month.
Wow. I think Skip made a good suggestion there about Bruce, if you maybe look into something like that.
Yeah, I'll ask Bruce if he's interested, if he can swing it. Definitely.
Yeah, we don't want to lose Bruce.
No, set him up
He's
to own his own
getting, he
place.
gets a rent increase, he's gonna have to do something if we don't take care of him.
Okay, call for vote.
All right, so motion on the floor.
The motion on the floor is for authorizing you, Eric, to obtain information on the purchase price, possible rebuild, refurnish price, and options for sale or marketing. And to report back to the board as quickly as possible.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Yeah. All right. Then we will move forward. Patrick?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Yes.
Deb? Andy?
Yes.
And Ryan, you made the motion, so, and yes, all right. And we're gonna do that, and if we need a special meeting, we'll have a special meeting, yes.
If there is a special meeting, there'll be 48-hour notice posted. So anybody who's interested can come to that.
All right. Anybody else have anything that they feel they need to bring to the board tonight? Okay. Then we will now entertain our open forum. So Laura, you have an issue that you would like to bring to the board?
Why are you laughing? You don't know what it is. Right. I got 2 issues, but my first one.
You got 2 minutes.
Thank you. Can I get 2 minutes?
Where do you live?
I live at 46A.
Yes, yes.
I can't answer 2 questions.
Well, you're gonna direct it to the board.
Thank you.
Please speak into the mic.
81 Lakeside Boulevard, Unit 14, Fort Myers, Florida, 33905. Okay, now.
Continue to speak
Speak
into the mic,
phone,
Laura. There you go.
There you go. I got a pen now. Okay. Last year, on 1/13/2024, Debbie, you there?
I am.
because you helped pick me up off the ground. Okay, I fell down my stairs. I did a lot of damage. According to this, closed compression fracture of L1 vertebrae. I sprained my finger. I did damage to my lumbar. I did, well, I can't read it all, but anyway, I was referred to the spinal center. And I did not approach the board for any money. I paid full cost myself. I didn't ask anybody for anything. The only thing I did do was I showed Eric that the concrete is worn off. Wait a minute, Eric, it's my turn. And then, you know, if any of you care to come look at it, you will see the spot. Sharon, you know I fell, and you know how hurt I was. I couldn't get my own, I had to wear pajamas for 3 weeks. And, you know, I didn't say anything, but I don't want to call again rainy season. Because when it rains, those spots that have no surface on them are very, very slippery.
Yeah.
So now I need some, or this time I swear I want this on, I have it on record so that I have it written that I put this complaint in. So if I fall again, it's not gonna be my responsibility. You know, I'm not paying all the bills. My insurance company questioned me because I fell on the
Well,
property.
you did put a claim in with Morgan & Morgan.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Did you fill out, a work order?
A work order for what? It was, I know, I just asked Eric.
Okay, all right.
There's Unit J, but
It was
Let's fill out a
raining.
work order
Are
for
you-
the steps to be redone.
Don't you agree? Where are you?
She's saying fill
Oh,
out
my
a work
God.
order, fill out a work
Didn't you
order.
fill out a work order and didn't you call down here?
I
Debbie?
did not fill out a work order. I did call down to let them know that you had fallen. Yes, I did.
I thought you said you put in a work order.
No, I did not.
Okay, all right, that's number one. Number two was yesterday, I was speaking with Eric, and I had asked him, and anybody wants to, they can walk around and look at our, railings, you know, and when we had these places painted, that year we were supposed to get our lanais done. You live in a condo, so you understand. So when I told Eric, he told me that was my problem, not ours. So this here is yours. You read it too fast. I wasn't.
no, you wouldn't allow me to read it.
Go ahead, read it.
By the unit owner, the responsibility of the unit owner shall be as follows: to maintain, repair, and replace at his expense all portions of the unit except the portions to be maintained, repaired, and replaced by the association. The unit owner's responsibility specifically includes windows and glass panels, hurricane shutters, doors except exterior surface paint or stain, screens, frames, hardware, appliances, fixtures, switches, compressors, air handlers, air conditioner, refrigerant lines. Well, that's the one that applies to a
No,
gas.
this is what applies to what we were talking about.
My goodness.
That's the one you read to me, and now that's responsibility.
Right. Because that's where, you're asking about the frame for your screen, lanai.
That's your
So,
responsibility.
screens and.
That's her
No, no,
responsibility.
read this, because that has, you read me this, and after you left.
The
I read
association
this.
shall be responsible to see that the maintenance. The association shall be responsible and shall see to the maintenance, repair, and operation of the exterior of the units, including but not limited to all exterior surfaces from the unfinished surfaces of all exterior walls outward and the roofs of all buildings. The unit owner shall remain responsible for maintaining all portions of the units as described in section 6.2
Which
below.
is the inside.
No, 6.2 is below, which is what I just read, that says
Right.
screens, frames,
Right.
appliances.
You're responsible.
But where's the part that it says outside walls?
Whoa.
Outside walls.
Outside walls.
Yeah, walls.
Come on, Harry.
It's not a wall.
You're smarter than that.
Walls.
All right, I have to read it. I will.
Yeah.
It's not an outside wall, it's a screen.
No, I replaced my screen. The 4 walls here and the wall where my door is. That's all the outside of the building. Want that?
No,
Take a look at it.
what's wrong with it. I don't know what.
All right, if you walk by there, you can see all of those gates are rusted and torn looking. Don't they
It's your
look great to you?
responsibility.
Did you ever look? No.
What dates are you talking about?
They're not gates. Your screen is here. Outside your screen, there's a railing.
Okay, I'm sorry, you said gates.
Well, I'm not using the proper term, but here's where it says.
you're responsible for, unfortunately. Laura, do you think that maybe that we could get together with Eric and you can show him what you're talking about specifically?
All right,
Or,
does
I'm
he
not
have a
chairman,
chance
you would
to
decide
do it?
which board member.
Almost everybody here.
Would you
Yeah.
say that the outside, you know, your lanai is outside wall?
No.
No, that's what I mean, we're unsure,
They're
Laura. So
concrete.
maybe we could
Okay.
just get together and,
I might have a picture, hold
the
on.
chairman.
They're aluminum, not concrete.
What's aluminum?
The frame.
The framing, yeah.
I don't know what's out there, but somebody planted it and now it's at the rest
And
of the.
Laura, this is really a very specific
Yeah.
issue to you. So we
Yes.
want to
No,
meet
it's
it,
not
but
just,
it's,
I'm not saying just do mine. I'm saying do them all.
well, you're the one that has a concern about it, so we need to resolve it for you. And then based on that, we can
Fine,
let
don't do
everybody
it,
know.
just
So,
fix the steps, so I don't have to fall.
no, we
Because
definitely
I
want,
did pay all
we
my
want to take a look
expenses.
at what's going on with this.
Debbie knows she's
Okay,
there.
thank you, Laura. We kind of want to give someone else a chance.
Yeah, I
I
appreciate
didn't,
that.
you can
Thanks.
give, I don't care, you don't do anything, because I recorded it and I will see you next time I call.
See you the last time too.
I did not.
Eric, no.
If I sued, where's
Where's
the
the
money?
social club?
Have to prevail.
Okay, Jolene, you gonna bring us, up to date on social club activities?
Yes, I'm the lucky one tonight.
I said I was gonna call him, but I didn't.
No, you called.
No, I didn't.
Stop it, stop it, guys.
Okay, Jolene?
Personal things.
Okay, so I have the social club report for the board. Social club has the Jimmy Buffett party on Saturday, the 22nd, this Saturday at 5 p.m. It's a free event out back, weather permitting, of course. Bring an appetizer to share. Our big event is on Saturday, March 8th. It is Pine Ridge Day. It's a little different this year. It is $5 for residents and renters, along with you're going to bring 2 non-perishable canned items or, boxed items for us to donate to the pantry that we did before with the Super Bowl soup kitchen, super cans, whatever we called it. If you have a non-resident coming with you, a family member that's visiting, or someone from outside, that is $10 a person. The meal choices are chicken and pulled pork together, or if you want the vegetarian option, it's vegetable lasagna. Our sides are coleslaw, pasta salad, roll, ice cream, and water. The food is being served from 12 to 1:30. We are going back to the old games from 1:30 to 3. There's going to be a 50-50 drawing and 50-50, and the drawings for that and the door prizes, the game tickets, will be at 3 o'clock, and you must be present to win. Every person who pays for a meal will get a ticket in the door prize bucket also. The deadline to pay is March 4th.
Who's doing the meal?
The meal for the pulled pork and chicken is from Jones's, and the social club is doing the remainder items, except for the vegetable lasagna. I'm not sure who's doing that. Okay, any other questions about that? Everybody okay? Understand? Everybody good?
Sounds good.
And the third thing is we're having St. Patrick's Day, our St. Patrick's Day party on Sunday, March 16th from 7 to 10. It's an inside event and it's $5, and we have, I just wrote the information. We're having Jersey Beats, and we had them last year, one for one of the dances. So that's $5 a person on March 16th on Sunday.
Great.
Okay? That's the main things. I mean, there's other stuff, but those are the 3 main things. Anybody have a question? We hope to see everybody there. If you've never come to Pine Ridge Day, come have some fun. And we are gonna set up inside for food. You can eat inside. You can eat outside. We will have the tents over the tables and then you can eat out at the pool. And the other thing we have in April is, the pool party, which is a free event.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you. Thanks to the social club for everything that they do. We appreciate them, so. Oh, Donna?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna get up. Everybody can hear me, I speak loud enough. I wanted to thank Eric for finally putting the lights on Blackberry and Villa on that corner, cause it was so dark at night, you couldn't see anything, and when I went to work in the morning, I couldn't see anything, I had to put my brights on my car. So thank you very much, it took you a long time, but it was finally rectified. Appreciate it.
Skip.
If you come across a snake where the red touches the yellow, you're a dead fellow. Remember that. There's some around here, so just know they'll have all the rings on them, okay? If red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow, very poisonous, okay?
Well, thanks for sharing.
The second thing is, what's going on with the drugs on Saleview?
We're trying to get them out of here. They're doing an eviction, trying to get them out of here.
Yeah, but they're giving the gate codes out, they're running cars through here at night.
I don't know what gate code they have. I don't know what gate code they have.
The girls giving them the gate code, I don't know.
You just call the address
Trying to
and
get
they get
in here. They're piggybacking, they're waiting like, you know,
Yeah, 'cause it's drugs.
and they're trying to get in here through the gate.
It's a shame the police don't do anything. That we all know what's going on and the police don't do anything.
They won't do nothing till the bullet's
Taking
fly.
statements from some of the residents and the owner of the unit is trying to evict the person staying there and have to go through the process. So that's what that is. I know Sharon and Michelle discussed some of this today. They were at a seminar with an attorney. It's very difficult to throw someone out of their home. Thankfully, the owner of the unit is cooperating. That's gonna make it a lot faster than if the association had to take the action on its own. So,
You know, drug use, illicit drug use there.
yeah,
Can the police get involved?
I think the police could certainly get involved.
So somebody's gotta do something.
Yeah,
Well, they've been called, I mean, you know, there's just
Police.
so much we can do.
the individuals that we're talking about have had interactions here with the police multiple times on the property. Police have taken no action. I don't understand it. But that certainly is a shame because that situation should resolve itself very quickly because you've got an active crime thing going on. The police are supposed to address that, you know, and they're supposed to know the signs of it too. When they're there, even if you're not there for that, you're supposed to be able to catch them for it, you know.
Don't we do an evaluation check?
Okay, then we are going to entertain a motion to adjourn if there is nothing else.
Robert Coles, 4685 Blackberry Drive. On the land, when we had the agreement, and that was gonna be sold, we had, in that agreement, acquired 25 feet of property because the property line runs through the lake currently. So I'd like to know how that affects that situation.
It remains an easement, we don't require it.
Who owns the unit, who's the landlord on the unit in question? And how the background check go for that individual?
This was like a under the table sneak in type of thing, unfortunately. We didn't know about it.
Okay.
And then it got out of control pretty quick.
I'm glad to see that we made the profit we did on the house. My suggestion, after thinking about that for a few seconds, and Leo Jerome said, yeah, flip it. We currently own a condo that we're renting because of the market. And if the market had been better, we would have made more profit on the villa that we own. I would suggest not wasting Eric's time doing all that research and remodeling something. Acquire it, clean it out, flip it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
All right. Motion to adjourn, anybody?
Or skip suggestion.
All right, and we are adjourned. It is 8:14. Thank you, everybody.
She doesn't come every month. It's like, thank God when she's not here. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, my final.
Eric has all these and won't be mad or anything at all. Have a good night.
Yeah, you didn't get a recording of that.
Just so you know, I didn't sue. I went to and I backed out. I did not sue. If I sued, where's the papers?